The sun hits the planet on a different kind of angle down here. It's beautiful, it's lovely, and it's sophisticated. Canada offers stunning landscapes, beautiful natural wonders, and the Sprott Shore Language College. Our school was founded to amplify and expand the opportunities you have in life. At Sprott Shore Language College, we want to put you on the path to greatness. We take great pride in serving as your educator, mentor, and advisor. At our core, we are educators. Nothing makes us happier than to see our students progress and develop personally. As a country, Canada is home to a great mixture of diverse nationalities, cultures, and personalities. SSLC mirrors that spirit of multiculturalism on our campuses. Being surrounded by so many interesting people will inspire you to do great things. Vancouver is home to many attractions that bring people from all over the world. Join the incredible melting pot of ideas, philosophies, perspectives, and ideologies that we call British Columbia. Many people are attracted to the cosmopolitan lifestyle that Victoria City offers. If you love living in a highly diverse, multicultural modern city, living in Victoria will be perfect for you. As Canada's largest city, Toronto has unique opportunities you will not find anywhere else. Meeting interesting and influential people will increase your chances of finding learning opportunities and discovering your true life's passion. Join us at Sprott Shore Language College to enhance the quality and success of your life. Now is your time.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to SSLC's Pathway webinar series. My name is Ilyas and I'm the Pathway Program Manager here at SSLC, joining you once again from our Vancouver campus. And today we are having this webinar with ITD Canada, and Jamak is here with us representing ITD Canada. Hi, Jamak, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thank you for joining our webinar today.
Thank you for having me. This is a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure on our end as well. So I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. So today we're going to talk about ITD Canada's programs, admission requirements, and of course, how you can easily transition from our pathway program, which is EPE, English for Post-Secondary Education, to ITD's programs. And of course, ITD is conveniently located right in downtown Vancouver, very close to our campus actually, and they offer very good programs here in Vancouver, and we're going to hear more about those from Jamak today. But before we go into that, maybe let's get to know you first, Jamak. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do at ITD Canada, and then we can go ahead with your presentation.
Of course. Well, my name is Jamak Golshani, as you said. I, like probably many of the people who are on this webinar today, I'm an immigrant. I came to Canada at a very young age with my parents. It was March of 1988. I'm dating myself now. It's a very long time ago. I've been here for over 30 years in Vancouver. Vancouver's home. I love Vancouver. I did my education here in Vancouver, high school, college, university, and then I moved for a few years to the United States, worked in Silicon Valley for a bit, came back to Vancouver, and a good friend of mine is the owner of ITD Canada. He needed some help with marketing and development at that point in time, so I came in as a marketing consultant, and I became the VP of marketing, and then now I am the VP of the college in general.
Nice. Great. Welcome back to Vancouver.
Vancouver's always been home. You can't beat this town.
Exactly. Why don't we start? I believe you have your PowerPoint or your presentation.
Yeah. So I'm actually today I'm going to share a page off of our website. That way it's actually available to everybody else. Let me just try sharing it and see if I can do this right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me know if you see it.
Yes.
Okay,
We see.
perfect. So if I look off to the side, I'm looking at this. This is actually a page off of ITD Canada's website,
Okay.
itdcanada.ca/brochure. That way, people can have access to this once this webinar is done, if they feel like looking at it.
Is it
This is
possible to make it full screen somehow?
on my end. Let me try. Does that make it better? I don't know. Let me
Sure.
see. Let
Okay.
me just
Okay.
let me just do this. Is that
Yeah, there you
working?
go. Yeah, it's much
Okay.
better now.
Okay, so this is kind of like a booklet. What we're going to do is we're going to go through everything. Elias, let me know if you just want me to run through or if you're going to ask me questions and guide and
You can go through, and if questions arise, I may interrupt you. And if we get
sure.
questions from our audience or from Facebook or elsewhere, I'll be asking them to you. And in the end, we can do, if we still have questions, we can do a quick Q&A in the
Perfect.
end.
Perfect. I'll try to go through this as quickly as possible because I know how boring presentations are. I
Mhm.
rather go through questions if possible.
Sure,
So
sure.
ITD Canada has been around for about 19 years since inception. We have a lot of programs that we offer. This is a list of our comprehensive list of our programs.
Mhm.
The college is divided into the School of Art, School of Business, School of Hospitality, and as you can see, the biggest school that we have is the School of IT, Information Technology. We have many, many IT programs that we can dive into and look at some of them. For example,
Mhm.
as you see here, it looks like the programs are doubled. They aren't really doubled. They're the
Mhm.
same programs, but you have, as a student, you have the option of taking it in 1 year or 2 years. And if you take it in 2 years, that means the second year of the program is co-op.
Mhm.
And co-op basically means you go to work. You go to work, you get paid, you don't come to campus. So if you enroll in the 2 year program that includes co-op, you come to school for 1 year, and then the second year you're off to work. You only show up on campus if you need help, if you have questions or something that you need help with.
Mhm.
So just to quickly go through the programs, we have a graphic design and interior design program. That's our art school. We have accounting and finance, or business and administration, as our business school. We do have sustainability business management. Allow me to come back to that in a few minutes because it's a little bit different.
Sure.
School of hospitality, we have hospitality management. Then we have a variety of IT programs. I want to direct your attention to network administration. If you're the type of person that likes to work with computers, but you're not a developer, you don't like coding, you like to fix computers, you like to work on networks, you like to work on routers, you like to work on firewalls, you like to be up and about, going and visiting people and fixing their problems, the network administration program is for you. Open source web development is sort of the cutting edge of web development technology. And then we have graphic and web development. E-commerce obviously has a commerce aspect to it. So if you want to be able to sell stuff on your website,
Mhm.
that's the program for you. General programming gives you a variety, gives you a big picture of what the various programming languages, so that you can get a little bit of a flavor of each one. Game programming is one of our most popular programs. In Vancouver, we are one of the colleges that has a comprehensive game programming um, program. And then embedded programming is system programming. It's for if it's the type of programming that's closest to hardware programming, if you will, without going too much detail for that.
Are these all, if you can go back to the
Yeah.
program list. So if they are without co-op, are they all 1 year program?
Yes, without co-op, all of these without co-op are 1 year programs. If you
Mhm.
take it with co-op, they're 2 year programs.
2 year program.
The reason I wanted to come back to sustainability business management is because
Mhm.
that is the only program we offer that does not have a co-op component to it. It does not have the co-op option. It
Mhm.
is only 6 months long,
Mhm.
and it actually requires a business degree for you to be able to get into that program.
Mhm.
Whereas everything else that we have does not require an education component. And since we're working right now with Sprott, once you come in through Sprott with the education, with the English language proficiency that you've gained, we won't even test it. We won't test your English. So there is no prerequisite. You come right through for anything else.
So they just need to graduate from high school, basically.
Yeah, they just need to graduate from high school. We even have, people who are not high school graduates, they're adult learners. And, for those, if you have candidates like that, we just look at their resume and make sure that they are professionals, and we'll bring them in.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So this brochure basically goes through the various programs, explaining it a little bit. I'm not going to go into the detail of each program. That's available on our website. The curriculum for everything is available. The details of what we teach in every program. Graphic design is obviously graphic design. You do your graphic design.
Would you need a portfolio for graphic design program?
No, not to get in. Like I said, none of our programs have an academic prerequisite, only English language proficiency, and that because they're coming through Sprott, we do not need that either.
Okay.
Interior design, we have people who in their previous life in their own countries, have gone through architecture, interior design, and whatever, but when they come over to Vancouver, they want to get the Canadian education and Canadian experience. A lot of our students get interior design for that reason. Our School of Business is very, very popular. And as I said, we have the two programs of business administration and accounting and finance. Of course, sustainability, business and management as well. But most of our international students do not go for sustainability, business management. The business administration program gives an overall picture. If you want to run your own business in Canada, or you want to see how a Canadian business is run, that's a good option for you. Accounting and finance is accounting and finance. If you're interested in accounting and finance, that's the program for you.
Okay.
Next is School of Hospitality. We have, again, a very popular School of Hospitality. We have our instructors are very, very, they've been in the industry for a very long time. And, as you know, Elias, Vancouver is a tourism-oriented city. So there are a lot of opportunities for people who go into hospitality. A little bit more on that. And then School of IT, I try to briefly tell you about the various programs we have. This brochure gives a little bit more detail about each one. I talked about e-commerce. If you want to have a shopping cart on your website and be able to sell items, e-commerce is for you. Embedded programming, if you think about, you have those little LCD monitors on like, not a monitor, but the little LCD panels on microwaves, on remote controls, on your dishwasher. The people who program those are system programmers. Those are embedded programmers. So it's that sort of very, very, very first layer of hardware that you program before you come up into sort of human interaction is embedded programming. Open source web development is, like I said, the sort of the more high-end, up-to-date programs like Ruby on Rails that we and if you look on here, it says the Drupal, Joomla, a lot of the more advanced, not I don't want to say advanced, more today kind of applications that are developed are on these. Network administration is the only program that we have that is not application development or a coding type of thing for IT. It's network administration. So if people who are initially as an entry-level position, you might be working in a help desk or as a systems administrator, a junior systems administrator fixing computers. And then general programming, like I said, it gives an overall flavor of programming of every language, a little bit of every language. Game programming is all about game programming. Now, I got to say, this is different from game development. Some schools have game development. This is game programming. So it's focused on the programming aspect of game development. Game development is sort of a bigger umbrella about how you develop a game, whereas game programming is about how you program the programming aspects of game development. Graphic and web development is more focused on the front end of the website than the back end. So the look and feel of the website, being able to design something. So if you're an artist, but you want to also learn how to develop websites and do your art on the web, that's the program for you. And then these are our applications are all online right now, so we don't need to go through that. Again, that's where we're located on the map. Like Ilyas was saying, we're pretty much right across the street. I think we're 1 minute away from Sprott, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah.
Telephone number and information is right there. I don't know if it's legible through the screen like that, but that's basically the end of the brochure. I haven't talked about prices. I don't know if this is an appropriate time. I can talk about prices, tuition, fees, and
Yeah,
whatnot.
I'll get into those.
Sure.
That was a quick presentation.
Yeah, I ran through it as quickly as I could.
Okay. Yeah, we can maybe go through some of your admission procedures.
Sure.
We can get to know more about your tuition fees and how it really works, how students pay you. Do they pay up front, or do you have any payment plans for them? If we can go back to that admissions page, perhaps.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe we can.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
So let's get started maybe with the admissions for our students.
Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So as soon as students are admitted into our pathway program, EP program at SSLC, then we are able to start the application process with you. So do we fill out a paper application, or is it online? And then do they need to pay any application fees? And what do you exactly need? If you can guide us through this process quickly, maybe.
Absolutely, yes. So once that's done, like you said, basically you fill out an online application form. It's right off of our website again,
Okay.
and maybe they get assistance through the school
Yeah.
to fill out the application.
Yeah.
And once they filled out the application, right there on the application, they select their program, they select their payment plan. We have the option for them to pay the whole thing, or they can pay it quarterly, or they can even pay it monthly if they choose to. Right there on the application, it will give a breakdown. The application works like a calculator. It gives a breakdown of exactly how much money they have to pay at what point of time. It will give the date along with the amount that needs to be paid.
Okay.
And if everything is suitable, they can look at the screen, and if they like what they see, they can proceed. If not, they can change it to different payment plans, and until they find the one that works and the one that they like. Same with the start date and the program. That based on the start date and the program, it just calculates everything. And then you go to the next phase of the program where you have to pay the application fee, which is $350.
Okay.
And then once we've gone past the application fee, the student is asked to upload their documents.
Okay.
The absolute minimum requirement is English language proficiency, which they do not have to do anything about because again they're coming from Sprott.
Sure.
We need them to upload their passport so we can we have a valid piece of ID. If they have marks, a transcript from their previous education, they can upload that for us, but it's not a mandatory thing. We can always get that from them once they start and they're on campus.
Okay.
But then after that, they submit the application, and then the application sits with the registrar's office.
So once we submit the application with a $350 application fee, how long does it take for you to process that? And do you send them an offer and ask them to pay a deposit, or do you send the LOA right away? How does it work?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So once the registrar's office goes through the application, if everything looks good, they will send an enrollment agreement, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like an offer, an enrollment agreement to the student, and
Mm-hmm.
also an invoice for the deposit. Once the invoice is paid and the enrollment agreement has been signed, and it's signed digitally through DocuSign, they just click on a bunch of buttons and then it's done.
Okay.
Once both of those items are received, which we call the admission package, once that admission package is received by the registrar's office, we issue the letter of acceptance.
Okay.
And usually, if everything is in order, we should be able to turn that around in 48 hours.
Great. Um, how many intakes per year do you have?
Very good question. We have 4 intakes per year.
Mm-hmm.
Every year we have 4 intakes. The first one is January, second one's April, then we have July for our summer term and October for our fall term. It just falls exactly on the 4 terms of the school that we have.
Mm-hmm.
The year at school follows exactly the same. So they have 4 terms in their first year at school, and in between each term, the students will get 1 week off.
Between each term, they'll have a week off.
Yes. So, for example, the first term will be, let's say somebody starts in October,
Mm-hmm.
the first term will be October to towards the end of December. At the end of December, they'll get the 1 week of Christmas holidays off, and
Mm-hmm.
then they start again on the first Monday of working Monday of January for their term 2.
And do they have to take everything back to back, or they can like take they can take a semester off? Is this possible or not really?
They can take a semester off if they have to apply for it. So if there is a good reason for them to take a term off, they can. We recommend, especially the students that are going on to co-op,
Mm-hmm.
we recommend for them not to take a term off, because we as a group, as a team, we're working constantly to
Mm-hmm.
prepare them for a job, and we're working on preparing their resume, they're building their contacts, they're working all of these various angles with
Mm-hmm.
a team at the college to secure their co-op position. So for them to take a term off, it kind of puts a halt in that process. If they have some sort of an emergency or something where they have to go, of course that's understandable, but we would prefer for them not to do that.
Okay, I see. And actually, co-op placements were my next question. How do you help students with co-op placements? Do you do them on your own, like as ITD, or do you work with third-party companies? And what should students expect for their co-op term? Is it a paid co-op? Can you tell us a bit more about the co-op opportunities at ITD?
Absolutely. So ITD is a vocational college,
Hmm.
meaning we prepare students for work, to go to work.
Okay.
Our entire program and everything else that we do in terms of student services, career planning, the career support, everything is geared towards finding a job for you. And that job is your co-op placement. So, but it is a collaboration. It is not just ITD pushing forward. For example, if we ask you to fix your resume and you don't work on it, you're off having fun in the sun, we don't feel the responsibility to find you a job. If we work with you to find an appointment for you, an interview, you don't show up to the interview, well, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So it is, we guarantee co-op as long as the student is cooperating fully and completely. There are requirements that they have to pass all their courses, their attendance has to be in order. All of this stuff has to be in place for them to qualify for co-op. So co-op is sort of like, it's the reward at the end of the rainbow. For a student that works hard and is doing their thing, it's not a problem. They get placed as soon as their first year is over. However, we have had students that get distracted, and no matter how much we try, they still remain distracted. And those students are the students that have problems. But the thing is, you do not graduate until you go through and you finish your co-op. So it is as much to our advantage to find you a co-op as it is yours. In terms of how the co-op works, basically you have a co-op host who is your the company, the Canadian company that will agree to have you there.
Mhm.
That company will enter an agreement with the student as
Mhm.
an employee, right? It's just your work permit is a co-op work permit, and
Right.
you work full time. You work full time at that location. You get paid for it. The salaries are usually a little bit lower than you typically would if you were a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of
Mhm.
Canada. But because it's your first experience and you're also a student,
Right.
but you work full time, and you do not, like I said, you do not come to the college unless you have some problems or questions that you need to resolve. Did I cover that, Elias, or is
Yes.
there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so let's say students took your 1+1 program. 1 year they studied, and then the second year they did their co-op. And then what can they do? I mean, we know that ITD Canada is a private institution, so I don't think they're able to apply for a post-graduation work permit. Do you have any pathways where students can
Yes.
transfer to any other school or college
Well,
in BC?
yeah, we actually have better than that. I
Okay.
mean, if someone's intention is to remain in Canada after graduation and work and then
Mhm.
become a permanent resident, I think that's what we're referring to here, as many of the international students are going through that. I would say over 95% of our students are in that category. They do not want to go back home. They want to remain in Canada, and who could blame them? Vancouver's absolutely beautiful, right? So in that sense, what all of our students, almost all of our students do is they use a program called BCPNP, and that
Mhm.
stands for British Columbia Provincial Nominee Program. The information is available on the Government of Canada's website, but just in short, if I just want to give you an idea of how this works,
Sure.
you just need a job offer from a Canadian employer. It is not like PGWP, like postgraduate work permit, where you have to have a certain code of a job, like a knock ID of a job. And you
Mhm.
have to go, for other things, you have to go through LMIA, that labor market assessment. Basically, you need an employer, any employer that
Mhm.
has the company is in good standing with the Canadian government and has 5 employees, I believe, is the minimum requirement, to
Mhm.
give you an offer and say, hey, I want Ilyas to work for me. And
Mhm.
that's enough to be able to get into that BCPN people. And the BCPMP is a pathway to PR. It is designed for people to come in and then apply for PR. So whereas PGWP is a temporary work permit. So
Mhm.
you've studied here in Canada. Now let's give you a taste of what working in Canada is like. So BCPMP, in majority of cases, I'm not claiming this is true for everybody. In
Mhm.
majority of cases, it is more efficient, it is more cost effective, and it's it's easier to go through and get to PR. And we've set up our programs
Mhm.
geared towards that. That's exactly why your co-op is there.
Mhm.
If you go to co-op and you impress your employer, you work so hard that your employer does not want to let you go,
Mhm.
they will give you that job offer because they've invested in you, right? As an employee, they've trained you, they've got everything set up for you. Why would they want to let you go? In many cases, they're paying you less than they would, like I said, for a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. So it just makes sense for them to keep you, and we see this happen all the time with our students.
So they have that option to through BCPMP to stay in Canada. But when they apply to BC, do they directly apply to BCPMP or do they still require to get LMIA?
They do not need LMIA for BCPMP.
All right. And I believe you had an in-house immigration consultant at ITD.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have somebody in house, and we also have partners that are outside of ITD as well. If we give people options if they want to work with somebody else, they absolutely can.
All right. I see. And how many students do you have on average? And are they mostly international students, or do you also have local Canadian students here as well?
So yeah, so traditionally most of our students are international students.
Mm-hmm.
However, recently I guess due to the pandemic, we have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bunch of local students that are basically helping us stand because there's no international students coming in. So
Right.
the mixture of our college in terms of international and local is shifting more towards local at the moment. At the moment,
I see.
all of our classes are online.
Mm-hmm.
However, even with that, we were getting a bunch of local students because we've shifted our marketing towards local students as well, so we can
I
get
see.
some locals. There was two parts to your question. Sorry, I think I missed the first part.
The
Oh, the
the
number
number
of students.
of students
Yeah.
and the
So
nationality mix, kind of, or like how many international? What's the
yeah,
percent
yeah. So
international versus
so
locals?
the numbers are around 200 to 300
Okay.
students, and then at the moment, I would say probably 20% local,
Mm-hmm.
the rest are international. Probably. I don't have exact figures right
Okay.
now.
Okay. And I'm sure it fluctuates with
It
the pandemic.
fluctuates. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was going to ask you a follow-up question on that. Oh, you said you switched to online, and are you planning to go back into the campus, or is it like for October starts?
It depends on the government, right? I mean, as you know, it just depends on what the recommendation of the BC government is. We're fully ready to, the campus is just sitting there, right? We're fully ready to go back.
Mhm.
However, if you ask my personal opinion with the way things are going, I think at best it's going to be a hybrid model,
Okay.
online and offline with groups of students. That's at best. I don't see this thing calming down to the point where the campus is fully open and we have everybody on campus. So
I see.
the answer is I don't know,
Mhm.
but that's what I suspect.
Okay. And what's your tuition fees look like?
So great question. So let me go back to this to the to the list of programs because we basically have two tuition fees.
Okay.
So our all of our IT programs are one price,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else is another price. So it's easy to remember.
Okay.
All of our IT programs are $22,000 for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything else is $20,000, 20,700 for
Okay.
2 years. The
Mm-hmm.
way this is divided is the majority of the money is paid in the first year because
Because
the
the second
second
year.
year is co-op. Yeah, and the student is getting paid.
Mhm.
There's no they get everything done with, and they're done. However, we have a grant right now that is a very, very good grant. We've never done this before, and we probably never will again.
Mhm.
It's funny. We started offering this as a scholarship to select students. They had to write an essay. They had to go through an interview process at the
Mhm.
very beginning of this year. This was something because this year is our 20th anniversary. So this was a 20th year anniversary, and we wanted to go all out and give a very good scholarship. So we had decided to give this scholarship to 20 people,
Okay.
and there was so much they had to go through in terms of essays and interviews because we had a lot of candidates that wanted this scholarship.
Mhm.
But then after the pandemic, in March, April timeframe, we decided to open it up to everybody
Mhm.
and made it a grant instead of a scholarship.
Mhm.
Basically, the grant is that it lowers the tuition fee for any of our 2 year programs to
Mhm.
$12,000. So
So
that's
that's like a $10,000 off.
Yeah, that's almost half price. Yeah. So it's like 40 some odd percent off, and they can pay this in installments if they need to. Some people like to pay in installments. They pay $1,000 deposit, and then the rest of the payments they can pay it $1,000 per month as they go through, and then the second year tuition is completely waived. So by the end of first year, at $1,000 a month, they will have paid everything. Now there's a bit of a twist to this. Let me explain this because it's probably on everybody's mind as well. At the moment, this is only available for October, for the October intake. I don't know whether we continue or not. I suspect it will depend on the pandemic and what the world will look like. We're probably going to make a decision pretty soon, though, in terms of whether or not we continue. However, we do have students right now, even that are overseas and have started the online program because they were taking advantage of this scholarship. So the way we have it set up is if the student, let's say you are the student and you're sitting somewhere across the ocean, right? And you're thinking this is a good program, I want to get into it, as we have some students like that. So they get in, and then what happens is if October rolls around and we still have to be online, and the student is not physically in Vancouver because of the border restrictions, flight restrictions, and everything, they can start their program online. But we won't force them to pay $1,000 a month. What we'll do is we'll take for that first term, we'll take their deposit of $1,000, and that becomes their tuition for that first term. Okay. So then let's say everything works out, and in January they end up coming here and they're on campus. Now they've paid $1,000, they owe 11,000, and there is 9 months of the first year remaining. So their payment will end up being 11,000 divided by 9. So whatever remains in the first year, we'll divide it into however many months are left in that first year, and they'll pay that. If this continues, I hope it doesn't, but if it does continue and there is a second term, the second term will cost an additional $1,000 out of, they'll pay the 1,000 out of their tuition. Then they have 10,000 remaining, and that will be divided by 6 months. So on and so forth, basically, is because we had to come up with a way of accommodating the students who they don't want to put their lives on hold, right? They want to get on with their lives, and they want to move forward. So this was a solution that we came up with to be able to accommodate everybody.
If they register, let's say until October, but and it's $12,000,
Yep.
but for some reason they cannot come and they want to study on campus, and they defer their start date to, let's say, January or even to April, will you still honor the same price, or it's not the case anymore?
It depends. If we end up continuing this grant, yes, we'll honor it. But if we don't, then we can't do that, right? It wouldn't be fair to other students because everybody would register right now then, even if they wanted to start in October of 2021, right? So we will defer the intake due to the pandemic if that happens, because a student has a right to want to do that. But in terms of the grant, if they want to use the grant, they'll have to start online because that's their intake. Unless we amend it and we say, okay, we're going to continue with this grant into 2021, and then the money would be the same, so they can defer and continue.
So that's great. I mean, you're giving $10,000 grant, $10,000 off, and it's great that we are able to announce this here as well to our prospective students out there. So thank you for letting us know about this. Yeah, great. All right. I guess. Oh, I was just going to ask, if let's say you were to charge the regular fees $22,000, do students pay this on their first year as well? Do they have to complete this in the first year as well?
So the tuition for the second year is 1,850. So everything else needs to be paid in the first year.
And they can do this again monthly or per term?
Yeah, per term or upfront. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are the payment plans.
All right. And Where do your students usually work when they graduate, and what kind of jobs do they really do once they complete your programs?
So it depends on the program, right? Depends on the type of program that they've taken because your co-op has to be consistent with the program you took. If you're a business student, you work in a business environment.
Mhm.
If you're an IT person, your role would be an IT person. Typically, it's a junior position unless this is a person who comes with a wealth of experience from back home and they go in, their resume is strong and we can market them into a better position. But usually, typically, our partners are want to take in junior staff, not more senior staff.
Mhm.
And the type of companies is an interesting one. Sometimes we do have co-op positions with larger companies.
Mhm.
However, it is for majority of our students because of the conversation we just had previously that they want to stay in Canada and work. For
Mhm.
majority of our students, it's beneficial for them to work on in a smaller to medium-sized company than a large company because when it comes to getting that job offer, if you're in direct contact with the boss, with the person who owns the company,
Mhm.
it's you get the job offer like that. It's very simple. He just writes a letter and gives it to you. Whereas if you were, working at like a big company,
Mhm.
the person, your supervisor, has to get multiple levels of approval,
Right.
and sometimes that doesn't happen. So to answer your question, it really depends on the student.
Mhm.
It's not there's no cookie cutter system. It depends on their assets. It depends on how much networking they do based on what we teach them to do and
Okay.
how they do at interviews. But our preference usually for majority of students, because of their ultimate goal, is to host them at a small or medium sized company.
All right. Thank you for answering that question as well. That's
Pleasure.
about it for my questions, actually. If we
Okay.
have any questions from our audience out there, we can take them now. And if we have questions on Facebook, Jim can also type them in here. So
Should I
thank you
stop
once
sharing
again.
my screen?
Yeah, you can
Stop
stop sharing
sharing
your
my
screen if
screen.
you
That
want.
way we can, yeah, there we go. Then I can look straight ahead instead of down there.
So thank you so much once again for joining us today. It was a great and informative webinar for us and
Thank you.
for our prospective students. And we have students studying at your school, and we have students who are waiting to start. They're about to finish our program, and they'll start, I believe, in October. So, and
Nice.
I know I have friends there who studied with you and who actually even worked with you and who are actually working with you.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's true.
yeah, yeah, and so thank you
Well,
for.
that's the thing is, it's funny you bring that up. Sometimes there is so much because this I get this question all the time. Why would I mean, it's a crazy question to us who've lived here a long time, but for a international student, the question of why would somebody hire me? Like I'm fresh in the country, why would somebody hire me? The answer is that because it makes business sense. You've got your some people are really good employees. They've got the experience, and it makes financial sense to do that. And Ilyas was just reminded me that yeah, we have our students work for us a lot of times because we take the cream of the crop before sending them out to other places to work. We rather have them work for us, right? Why send them out? So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks again, and I hope we'll have more students on your way to ITD, and we get a lot of questions regarding IT programs, and it's not easy to find these types of programs in Canada or in Vancouver, and you're one of the few institutions here in BC which offer these types of programs. So it's a great opportunity for our students and for our future students. And of course, with your grants and all that, I'm sure prospective students who are interested in especially IT programs will come and perhaps improve their English with us, and then go on to ITD and take one of your programs there.
That sounds great.
Yes. Okay, everyone. Maybe Jim can quickly go through our website. Jamak, you may not know, we are already back in our campuses in BC, actually.
Wow, good
in
for you.
Vancouver and in Victoria. We reopened our
Amazing.
campuses in BC on July 6th.
Mhm.
So our students and our teachers are back. And we just had a new announcement today. Our Toronto campus is reopening at the end of the month on August 31st. So we are also excited about that as well. Yeah, and we are just waiting for the good news. Hopefully soon, for the borders to reopen to at least to
Yeah.
international
We're
students.
all praying.
Yeah,
We're all praying.
yes, and so we're excited. It was just announced today that our Toronto campus is reopening on August 31st. So we're looking forward to that. Jim, you can share our website, and you can follow the news on our website as well. And we have more webinars coming up. Here you are with our, we have our brand new online virtual English program with National Geographic. You can see it, and we are also launching it on August 31st as well. We have medical English, our new medical English program coming up. Oh, you can see SSLC Connect. It's called SSLC Connect. We will be offering this to our students who would come to Canada, and who are in quarantine for 2 weeks. It would be free to them, but if students want to enroll in our program overseas, they can. It starts from $70 per week, basically, and it's powered by National Geographic as well. It's their curriculum, and these are the details that you can see here. We have pretty much all the levels, and you can see how many hours per week, and you can see the time zones here. We run them at Vancouver and Toronto time zones, and you can see what time it is in your own countries or in your cities. So it's a great program. We're excited about this as well. And we have a bunch of other programs, including our CACCT virtual program, medical English, and obviously we have our pathway program running online as well. And we continue with our pathway webinar series. Perhaps Jim can go on to that one on that page. We have more webinars coming up next week and the week after that. Yeah, you can see it right here. You can sign up for free, and we have student advisors and marketers that speak your language. So all you have to do is just go onto our website and connect with us. You can send us a message or email, and you can even chat with us on our website. And you can see our upcoming webinars with our pathway partners. We have over 40 pathway partners in Canada. And we also have webinars in your own native languages as well. We just held one in Spanish yesterday with FIC, and we had one in Portuguese today. So we have webinars in different languages as well. I think we can wrap it up here. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching our webinars here on Crowdcast, on Facebook, on our website, and thank you for tuning in and asking questions. And Jamak, thank you and to your team once again for supporting us.
Thank you for having me. This was an awesome pleasure
It's our
to
pleasure.
share the information.
Yes, this will be available on Crowdcast and on our website. So our students and prospective students can always refer to this video as well if they're interested in studying with us and at ITD. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week again. Take care.
Thank you.
The most
Thank you.
beautiful country
Bye-bye.
on Earth, 3 most livable cities in Canada, over 14,000 graduates, and 20 unique programs in English. Welcome to Canada. Welcome to Sprott Language College. Hi, this is Ilyas. As the Pathway Program Manager and the Marketing Manager for Europe, I will share with you today how you can live, study, and work in Canada. Canada stands out with its safe, multicultural society, quality of education, and high living standards. These things make Canada one of the most reputable countries in the world. It is also more affordable to study in Canada than other countries like the US and UK. Here, you can meet and study with students from over 75 different countries and also study and work through our career college. Or you can enroll in our Pathway program to study at Canada's top colleges and universities while working 20 hours per week to obtain work experience in an English-speaking country. If you want to be a part of this great experience at Sprott Language College, apply today. Now it's time for Canada.